Hey, welcome to Discovering More. My name is Ethan Lumen, one of the pastors here at Peace, and I'm joined today by Abby, our worship leader
Hi.
here at Peace. I figured we'd mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I figured we'd talk maybe about some of the music that we have, that we sing in our live stream worship, and you give a little bit of a history actually on music and worship. Today, it seems like music becomes this big factor in public worship. But if you look at like in the Old Testament, it wasn't until King David that music was even instituted as part of the worship practice. You know, there was the sacrificial system. There was obviously prayer and reading of scriptures, but there was no music until King David. And King David like built all his own instruments. And we only have a couple songs. And what's really cool as you look through the Old Testament is women are the ones who come up with the first songs. So you have Moses' sister in Exodus 15, and then you have Hannah in 1 Samuel. So you get these songs that were also written by women. So today worship includes music. So I wanted to talk about how music impacts our worship and maybe some of the thoughts that you have behind maybe song choosing in general, and then maybe a song you have a song that has been pretty meaningful to you in the season. Love to hear some of your thoughts on why it's so meaningful to you.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, Ethan. It has been just a wonderful thing to be involved in worship. And one of my favorite things about the worship aspect is integrating the different pieces of a worship service together. And so when we look at song selection, we're not just picking our favorite songs, but we're actually looking at songs that have a connection and are meaningful in the service. So the one that I have as an example today is the song Send Me. And our service this weekend is Sent Together. That's what we're talking about. And so we kind of see those playing together. And so we had a series, it was this spring, right? The Red Letter Challenge, all about serving and all about being sent. And that's when we first introduced this song as something that we could sing together as an anthem. And so we're bringing it back this weekend.
Awesome.
And it's a really cool one. And one thing I love about it is how rooted in Scripture it is. So I was looking at the lyrics. And I was writing down the different verses that come to mind with different pieces of lyrics. And we don't...
I want to pause you for a second because you said something that I want to revisit. You said we played it back in, March, April.
Yeah.
And now we're bringing it back. So maybe talk a little bit about that element of singability and familiarity. There's a great desire for new things. We're always running out of things or needing new clothes or whatever. But as we think about this, what's the value as you see it in like bringing back the old or like having those familiar songs that people are able to maybe resonate with at a deeper level?
Yeah, definitely. So there is a big push for people like to, hear what's new and what's trendy. But it's the familiar songs, the songs that have stirred our spirits in the past that can really bring us to that same place again. And so what I've seen is that the first time you hear a song, you might think it's cool, you might like the lyrics, but as you continue to sing it and get to know it, you begin to actually relate to it. And you're not just reading the lyrics off a screen anymore, but you're able to actually proclaim it with your own voice.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
I think that applies to songs that we've done, months ago, but it also applies to songs that may be years or decades or centuries old, that these songs have timeless truths that we can bring forward as we revisit them.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, you were talking about some of the Bible verses that really came to you as you were analyzing this song.
Yeah. So looking at Send Me, I think I wrote down like 10 or 20 different verses, so we're not going to talk about all of them right now because that would take a really long time. But there was one thing that stood out to me, and it's the whole story in John chapter 13 about the washing of the disciples' feet.
Yeah.
So we see it come up in this song a couple times. There's right away in the second line, it says, washing filthy feet, here I am, Lord, send me. So that's right away off the top. But then we see repeated in the chorus the line, if I'm known by how I love, let my life reflect how much I love you. And it brings me to chapter 13, John chapter 13, verse 34. A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. And verse 35, by this all men will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. And this is what Jesus says immediately after he washes the disciples' feet. Is he does this beautiful act of service, something that he didn't have to do. And he looks to his disciples and he says, a new command, love each other. That's how people will know that you love me. Is by your love for one another.
Yeah. I was thinking about how when it comes to music, some people will say, music is like emotionally manipulative. And I was listening to this guy, I don't know if you know who Elias Dummer is, but he's City Harmonic, I think was his band, or something like that. But he made the point, and it resonated with me, that yes, music is emotionally manipulative, which is why we use it for so many different things. If we want to chill out, we turn on some music. If we want to get amped up for a football game or working out, we turn on some music. It's just part of the nature of music is that it can take us to a different place emotionally. And so this song, Send Me, as I'm thinking about it, we'll have to link to it in the notes and in the description here. But it really inspires you to want to get out there and go a little bit. Just like you're talking about John 13. Like, hey, I washed your feet. I'm your teacher. I'm your master. I'm your coach. I'm your leader. And look, I'm willing to take the humble. See, I mean, like, feet get pretty smelly and dirty today. Now imagine you don't have socks. You don't have closed-toed shoes. You're walking, probably 10 to 12 miles daily. Sweaty, it's hot, it's the desert, and then Jesus, for him to get down and wash all of their feet, it's a big deal, and for him to say, hey guys, this is the picture for you. This is the picture. I'm willing to get as low as this. How low are you willing to go? Yeah. So, I think that's a perfect tie-in, and then also kind of, I do think that Send Me is a song that helps get us in that state of wanting to get out there and be sent. Yeah, I agree that these songs, they have an impact on our emotions. I think another thing that they do is when we already have an emotion, they help us put it to words in a new way. Maybe there's a stirring in someone's heart that they want to serve, that they want to help, but they don't know how to really say it to the Lord. They don't know how to ask for that next step. And so being able to see these words and these examples of being sent and to proclaim it out kind of helps to bring what would have just been a feeling and bring it into words and eventually into action. And like you said, there's 10, 20 Bible verses referenced, maybe more in this song. So you can even see, like the phrase, here I am, Lord, send me, put into the context of our lives, right? Because here I am, send me comes from Isaiah chapter 6, which has, which is pretty far from John chapter 13. We're talking, 700 years apart. But how do these scriptures then, which are 2,000 years apart from us, how can they still be brought freshly into our lives? So you hear that, you have that refrain, here I am, Lord, send me. Here I am, Lord, send me. If it's this or if it's that, if it's the other thing, and so maybe there's a hard thing that comes up at work. Maybe there's something you don't want to do at home. Here I am, Lord, send me. And we can kind of just have that song in our heads and put it into the context of our normal, everyday, regular lives.
definitely.
So cool. Well, I think music is a big blessing to us, and we just see how music has overtaken our world. I mean, multi billions of dollars, and every advertisement, every movie underscored with music. I mean, it's just such a big part. So as you think about worship music put together, maybe just give us one thing that you use to kind of orient yourself toward music in public worship.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be hard to pick just one. There's so much music out there in general, and even worship music. There's so much to choose from. And so you've got to really think about it, and pray about how God is leading us in worship. And one of the filters that I like to use is the question of, who is this putting the attention on? There's so many great songs about my life and what I'm going through, but what I love to see in a worship song is it being oriented not just about me, but completely on who God is, His qualities and what He's done. And there's a time and place for all sorts of different kinds of songs with different narratives. But that's one thing that I love to see in worship, is just that focus on who God is and what He's done.
Totally. So God becomes the subject.
Yes.
Yeah. That's great. Well, I hope this has been helpful for you. Like Abby said, we're going to be singing this song this coming Sunday. Or if you're watching this after the fact, it'll be September 28th. And talking about how we're sent together. Our Discovering More will probably tackle this as well next week. So we hope that our live stream is helpful for you, or if you're in the Eau Claire area, please come to our worship. We got a Saturday night service during the school year, and then 3 services on Sunday morning. Just go to mypeacechurch.com and find all that information right there. And we hope that this has been a helpful video for you. God's blessings.